everyone, and thank you so much for joining us today, as well as an Eid Mubarak. Happy Eid to everyone who's celebrating. My name is Kimberly Olson, and I'm proud to be an educator and the executive director of the New York City Arts and Education Roundtable. The Roundtable is a nonprofit service organization working to improve arts education across New York City. Today, we're gathered alongside incredible cultural leaders, teaching artists, educators, elected officials, and our city's young people to relaunch our It Starts With the Arts campaign for a fourth year. For 4 years, we have stood here on the steps of City Hall to champion arts education in our schools and communities. The arts are the heartbeat of our city. They are a vital engine for the city's economy, cultural identity, and a critical component of a culturally responsive education. You're right over here. Yet, that engine is sputtering. Bureaucratic hurdles in contracting, the skyrocketing cost of living, chronic inequities in access are stifling one of our city's most valuable resources, leaving our students and our workforce behind. While certified arts teachers are the backbone of arts in our schools, and we want to make sure their jobs are protected and growing as our city rolls out the class size mandate, they work in partnership with more than 900 arts and cultural organizations, employing a teaching artist workforce estimated to be nearly 11,000 strong. Teaching artists are that bridge between creativity and community. You'll find them not only in schools, but in libraries and justice settings, in hospitals and senior centers, and everywhere that people need art to thrive. The administration has said that they believe art is a public good, not a luxury only reserved for few. Teaching artists are at the heart of that work. For many young people, school might be the first and only introduction they have to dance, theater, music, visual arts, media, creative writing. These teachers open doors for students, unlocking creativity, fostering resilience, improving mental health, and revealing the power of expression beyond our classroom walls. But too many of these teaching artists are severely underpaid. According to a study done by our organization, teaching artists make between $35,000 to $50,000 annually. Additionally, many of these teaching artists do not have health insurance through work, with only 6% reported receiving it through an employer. I got even one more for you. This issue is made worse by the stress put on employing organizations who are left waiting months, if not years, waiting on delayed contracts and waiting to receive money that they are owed to pay this vital workforce. That is inexcusable. When we fail our teaching artists, we fail our students. Our students deserve a quality sequential arts education, and that means supporting our workforce. So we are gathered here today to call on the mayor, to call on city council to act now, ensure fair pay, fix a broken contracting system, and invest in arts education for every child, because it starts with the arts! Excellent. Living wage is what we need.
Living wage is what we need.
Support the arts so kids succeed.
Support the arts so kids succeed.
Excellent. So I'm now going to turn it over to a roster of incredible speakers today to help us really emphasize home the importance of this issue. First up, we are going to hear from a teaching artist, actress, incredible educator, the lovely Carrie Warren. Welcome, Carrie.
I am a teaching artist. I am Miss. I am Hey Teacher. I am Miss Art Lady. Are we going to have to talk about our feelings today? I am once a week drama teacher, director, facilitator, choreographer, all part-time. I am 13 W-2s. I am 24 1099s, and I still don't qualify for health insurance. I am paycheck to paycheck. I am an 8-hour day. I always take the subway. That's my office. A morning matinee teaching in BK, my 4th subway transfer, 90 minutes on the train, and last gig in the Bronx, where I am stopped at security again because I don't have a DOE ID. I peel off another visitor pass. I am a teaching artist. And sometimes the difference makes me feel like I am less than. Even though I show up with a curriculum, with a practice, with an art form. I've taught at public schools, private schools, community centers, parks, churches, on rooftops, stairwells, gyms, hallways, cafeterias, and libraries. My classroom is wherever my students are. I go where the work takes me. See, I can be found anywhere, like a penny. And sometimes I feel like forgotten change. Pennies aren't even made anymore because they cost too much to make. And sometimes I feel like I cost too much too. I'm too much to pay for traveling. I'm too much to pay for planning. I'm too much to pay full time. I'm too much to sustain. Another art program is cut and I'm the first to let go and the last to be paid. But like pennies, my work adds up. Because in 45 minutes, I can transform a classroom into a stage. I've seen a student go from whispering their name to speaking, singing, and standing tall. My impact is not small. But not all teaching artists are guaranteed a fair wage. Not all teaching artists are paid for their professionalism. So when we say it starts with the arts, it starts with valuing teaching artists. Don't throw us away like pennies. We are not less than, we are essential. I am a teaching artist, and I am asking you to make change with us. Thank you.
When I say teaching, you say artist. Teaching.
Artist.
Teaching.
Artist.
When I say fair pay, you say now. Fair pay.
Now.
Fair pay.
Now.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Carrie. I also want to extend a heartfelt thanks to the borough president who joined us briefly and then was jetting off to the next moment. Thank you, Manhattan Borough President Brad Hoyland-Siegel. So we're going to keep our event going. And next you're going to hear from educator, choreographer, dancer, Mary Sook.
Good morning. Thank you, everyone. And thank you, Carrie. That was really beautiful. I did not grow up in New York City and not a New York City public school kid, but wish I had been. My lifelong love affair with the city, with its people, with the students here, really began with long 8-hour car rides from Western Pennsylvania to New York City to visit relatives. And those visits always included trips to museums, to see concerts, to see plays, to see dance. And I fell in love with the city. When I moved here, it was with the express purpose of becoming a worker in the arts. And over that time that I've been here, I have been able to witness the power of the arts in education. The kinds of skills that students learn through an engagement with the arts are what we need now and in our future. Students learn how to listen deeply, to notice, to feel, to connect to one another in ways that no other form, no other means really can capture in the same way. The arts are unique for that purpose. I am a teaching artist, and just this week alone, I was in Far Rockaways. I was in 2 different neighborhoods in the Bronx and on the Lower East Side in Manhattan. And in each of those locations and in the many places where I've worked, I have witnessed students become the agents of their own learning. They learn how to learn through the arts. The arts are an engine. The arts are an engine for education. I have learned many things as a teaching artist by being in the schools. And in fact, one of the most important lessons I learned was from a first grader in Queens in the Rockaways. I was rehearsing a group for a final presentation getting frustrated when things are not going well, and a very brave first grader raised her hand and said, "You've tried talking to us in this way or working with us in this way, and it's not going so well. Maybe you should try something else." We have tried, and we know the effects of disinvestment in education, in the arts. We know the effects of a broken contracting system. Maybe we should try something else.
Yes. Yes.
So I'm calling on the mayor and city council to support the arts. It starts with the arts, and it should continue with the arts. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Carrie. I could not agree more. Now, a vast majority of this teaching artist workforce are gig workers, balancing multiple jobs, as you've heard. Next, you're going to hear from Andrea Gordillo, Chief of Staff at our partners at the Freelancers Union.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Hi, my name is Andrea Gordillo, and I'm very, very proud to stand here on behalf of the Freelancers Union, representing 1.3 million independent workers across New York City, including nearly 11,000 teaching artists in our public schools, many of whom are freelancers. We're gathered here today because of the lack of fair pay for teaching artists that cannot continue. We're here because a generation of New Yorkers will lose the opportunity to realize their full potential without the independent workers that make that possible. And I want to start on a personal note. I'm standing here also because of an educator who changed my life. Her name was Patricia Johnston, and she taught me about the history of art from Mesopotamia to Andy Warhol. She taught me to see the world differently, to think critically, to understand the relationship between culture and power. And I know that I'm not alone in that. I know that almost every New Yorker has had a teaching artist in their life who has left an indelible mark, who saw something in them and changed what they believed was possible. Mrs. Johnston pushed my peers beyond the classroom, asking us to engage deeply with ideas, with history, with each other. And she gave me the confidence to find my voice and eventually build a career as a freelancer and as a creative and as a civic leader. And later, I had the honor of becoming part of that ecosystem, working alongside teaching artists who do that work every single day for our students at places like the Clemente Soto Vélez and in my community. But not every child in New York City has access to that. And at the same time, the very workforce that makes arts education possible is being pushed to the brink.
Yes.
We have a system where teaching artists are underpaid, they're waiting months, sometimes years to be paid, and navigating a cost of living crisis that makes it harder and harder to stay in this city. So let's be clear, when we fail our workforce, we fail our students.
Yes.
And New York should no longer accept that, because you can't build a strong classroom with unstable labor. And this isn't just about whether you have access to the arts or arts education, it's a workers' issue. It's about whether the people who educate, inspire, and shape the next generation can afford to live in the city that they serve. And that's why we're here today. We're here because we're calling on the mayor and the city council to act, to ensure fair pay for teaching artists, to fix broken contracting systems so that people are paid on time, and to invest in arts education for every child in every school. Because this is about equity. This is about opportunity. This is about the future of New York City. A city where creativity is not determined by zip code. A city where every young person has a chance to dream, to express, and to thrive. And a city where workers who make that possible are valued, protected, and able to live here. So when we say it starts with the arts, we mean it. It starts with the arts, and it leads to a more just, more livable city for all of us. So thank you.
Give it up for Andrea! We're going to keep it going. New York City's creative sector is one of our city's greatest economic engines and competitive advantages. Yet a recent report, Creative New York, shows how the intensifying affordability crisis is threatening our very workforce that makes New York, New York. It is my great pleasure to invite up our next speaker, Eli Dvorkin, Editorial and Policy Director for the Center for an Urban Future. Welcome, Eli.
Thank you so much, Kim, and what a pleasure to be here with all of you. My name is Eli Dvorkin. I'm the Editorial and Policy Director at the Center for an Urban Future. We're a think tank focused on expanding economic opportunity and building a more vibrant and livable city. And we cannot achieve those goals without supporting our artists and cultural workers. Our recent report, Creative New York, makes clear just what's at stake. New York's creative economy supports more than 326,000 jobs. It brings life to our neighborhoods, it fuels tourism, attracts talent, and gives people a reason to stay and build a life here when so many forces are threatening to drive New Yorkers out. But despite everything artists give to the city, New York has not done enough to love them back. For the first time in decades, our research shows we are losing artists. Since the pandemic, the city has seen a 3% decline in musicians, an 8% drop in actors, and a 19% decline in dancers. Overall, our creative workforce is 6% smaller today than it was in 2019. And for those who remain, the reality is getting harder. More artists are working freelance, up 11% just since the pandemic, facing financial precarity, struggling to access health insurance, and as our research shows, earning 25% less than artists nationwide. That is not sustainable, and it is not the future that New York should accept. But the good news is it's not too late to act. City leaders can turn this around by creating more affordable artist housing across all 5 boroughs, by launching portable benefits so artists can access healthcare and stability, by fixing broken contracting systems so artists get paid, and by putting artists to work across city government and in our communities to help solve problems with creativity and imagination. New York's future and its identity depends on this. So let's get to work. Thank you, Kim. Thank you all.
Let's get to work. I could not agree more, Eli. Thank you so much. When I say teaching, you say artist. Teaching.
Artist.
Teaching.
Artist.
When I say fair pay, you say now. Fair pay.
Now.
Fair pay.
Now.
Excellent. So we have one final speaker with us. As Eli shared, for employing organizations engaging with contracts with city government, persistent delays in payment and contracting greatly impact an organization's financial stability. And that has then a trickle-down impact to the artists and the workforce that they employ, in addition to having an impact on the educational opportunities for our city's young people. So now you'll hear from Chris Toker, Director of Resource Development at Creative Arts Team, one of our city's incredible arts organizations and partners. Welcome, Chris.
Thank you so much. Great to be here today. As Kimberly said, I'm Chris Tokar. I'm the Director of Resource Development at Creative. Sure. I'm Chris Tokar, Director of Resource Development at Creative Arts Team. At Creative Arts Team, thank you. At Creative Arts Team, we're all about drama. We use theater, not just for creative expression, but also to activate learning, to activate social emotional learning, to build life skills, to look at career and college pathways, and maybe most importantly, to work with youth to critically engage with the world and have an active tool to address social issues. We serve about 10,000 students each year, and we know we're having an impact when every time one of those students has an aha moment. I just wanted to really emphasize all the things Carrie spoke about. When that really quiet kid suddenly steps forward and their teacher is shocked, when they burst into a monologue, when when students realize what an impact their own words have on someone else, and the power, yes, and the power they feel when they see they can impact their communities with their own voices. When they embody a character and you see the light going off in their heads, that they are actually building their own character. And every day they can practice who they want to be in the world. Yeah. The schools we work with see the power of this. They deeply appreciate and yearn for these spaces where art and those artistic spaces empower their students. There's no lack of desire on the part of the schools to get art in every school and to bring art to every student.
Yes.
We all know the things that get in the way, and it has to do with resources. It's about investing in school teaching artists who are part of the school. And it also is about investing in organizations like ours that partner with the schools to bring programs. When the schools and the organizations like ours are lucky enough to get some resources to bring the programs to the schools, we are then almost inevitably faced with an incredibly dysfunctional contracting system. Boo. Whether we're talking about DYCD, DOE, the MTAC system, Department of Cultural Affairs, moving from, say, a council vote on giving funding to an organization or to a school and having the work done and then paid for is opaque, a little psychotic, and very, very draining for everyone involved. It very much, at a school you have to be like a ridiculous genius of accounting to work through the paperwork that you have to do to get your arts funding. This should be a bridge to service. It should not be a barrier. It should not be a barrier. Right now, it's April. It's almost April 2026. There is work that we were awarded funding for in June of 2024. And we completed by June 30th, 2025, and we paid our teaching artists and all the work has been delivered. Have we been paid for that work yet? This is a DOE contract. Have we been paid? What do you think? Have we been paid for that? No. Do we even have a fully signed contract?
No.
Have we been able to invoice for it?
No.
So the burden of delivering this is increasingly on us to make it happen. And that's not right. And we want to do what these incredibly talented people do and get it into schools and have the students be awakened by it, be empowered by it, and to succeed with it. So we asked the mayor, we asked the city council, please fix the contracting system and please dedicate the resources necessary to get arts to every school, to every student, and to fairly pay the teaching artists.
Thanks so much, Chris. I think sign the contracts, clear the way.
Sign the contracts, clear the way.
Fix the system, start today.
Fix the system, start today.
Excellent. Well, I think that brings us to the end of our rally today. A huge thank you for everyone for being here. Before we wrap up, though, let's make sure that they hear us all the way in City Hall when we say it starts
With the arts.
It starts
With the arts.
It starts